And what's really, sometimes I think about it, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you used to do Dragon Ball videos, you like got big doing Dragon Ball videos, blah, 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 because you were like one of the first people doing Dragon Ball videos. I played Happy Wheels before PewDiePie and Tobuscus and all them made Happy Wheels videos. I remember playing it in school, and I remember thinking, this game's really fun. But I just never made videos of it because I literally was like, nah, this game's stupid. This game's stupid. People are gonna think this is stupid. So to give you a little bit of background on that, that was a clip from one of my recent Just Chatting streams where we were kind of going through some nostalgia, and we were watching a couple of old YouTubers that I used to watch, and we started talking about the era of Happy Wheels. And if you're one of my younger viewers, you may not be super familiar with Happy Wheels, or at least not in the way that I am. And so basically Happy Wheels was a flash game. You could play it on like a website, you know, on your computer. You didn't have to download it or anything like that. And it was this crazy game where people created these levels and you played as these wacky characters doing these crazy things. And it was just incredibly gory and violent, but it often made for some very humorous videos. And videos of this game actually launched the YouTube careers, or at the very least, greatly played a hand in the blow-ups of a couple of really big YouTubers of that era. You know, I don't know if you guys may have ever heard of Toby Games, or I don't know, maybe even this one dude PewDiePie. I mean, I wouldn't blame you if you haven't heard of them. I mean, we all know I'm way more famous than both of them ever were combined, right? But anyway, in that clip you guys saw, I was talking about how I used to play Happy Wheels when I was at school. I used to play it on the computers there, and I thought it was really fun. And at the time, I was doing YouTube. This was back in high school when I was making videos on my old YouTube channel, the StormPow. And I even kicked around the idea of making videos of Happy Wheels, but I literally remember thinking to myself, nah, nobody wants to see that. That game's dumb, and the videos would be dumb, and making videos of it would make me dumb. Well, guess who's dumb? And while it's never healthy to think about the what ifs or everything like that, because like I talked about in the live stream as well, I'm sure that if I were to make those videos, there's no telling that I would have been one of the ones to blow up, because maybe I didn't have that same energy that they had, or things like that, or that confidence at that time. So, you know, I'm not dwindling on the what ifs, but I mean, man, what if? But ultimately, the takeaway from that is not so much to go back and think about your what ifs, but more so that if you've got an idea for something and you want to do it, then freaking do it, because it might be the next big thing. If you think that other people might think it's dumb, but you think it's a good idea anyway, then go ahead and do it, because odds are you're not the only person who thinks that it might be a cool idea. I know it's no secret to you guys that a lot of content creation platforms like YouTube and Twitch and Facebook and TikTok, they're very oversaturated, and it's very hard to find a viewer base. And it's even harder to find a viewer base. I would almost say impossible to find a viewer base if you're doing the same stuff as everybody else. So other than a small handful of exceptions, there's almost no way to really find your following and to blow up on any of these content creation platforms without doing something that's unique. Now, this is easier said than done, so how do you do that? Well, in this video, we're gonna be talking about how to find your next big idea for your content creation, whether that be on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook, TikTok, whatever. You can apply this to whatever main platform you're focusing on, because it really doesn't have to be as hard as it sounds. I know that it's very intimidating to come up with what your thing is gonna be, or to come up with the theme for your content, but I'm gonna try to break it down for you guys in a pretty simple way. And just as a quick background for you guys, if maybe this is your first time on my YouTube channel, my name is StormPow. I stream pretty regularly on twitch.tv/thestormpow. So go give me a follow on there and, you know, join the live streams and be a part of clips like what you guys saw at the beginning and other very wholesome and great times. So be there live, and feel free to jump in there and talk to me about anything. I'm pretty much an open book, and I enjoy talking with you guys. So feel free to hop in and just give me a shout or anything like that. But I do make videos here talking about content creation as a whole, kind of how to grow your stream. Sometimes it's more technical, like reviews and all that stuff. So be sure to check out my other videos and subscribe if you find some stuff that you like. But I used to make videos on my YouTube channel called StormPow, where I gained a lot of the knowledge that I have now. And on there, I made videos of Dragon Ball Z, and it was kind of similar to what we're talking about now. And I might even reference some, things that I used and some mindsets that I had when growing that YouTube channel, because what caused the success that I had back then on that YouTube channel was that I was doing something different. I'm not gonna say that I was the first person to ever upload anime video games or Dragon Ball Z content to YouTube, because there's no way that I was. I mean, I never really did a lot of research to make sure that nobody was doing it, but at the time I was a part of a multi-channel network called Machinima, and again, that's something that maybe you old timers might remember, but I was a director for Machinima, and I wasn't really going anywhere. My channel wasn't growing, and I needed something to stand out. And one thing that I knew that I really enjoyed that not a lot of people were doing, or nobody really that I knew of, was videos of Dragon Ball Z games. And there hadn't been good Dragon Ball Z games in a while, so I went way back. And I started making videos of the PlayStation 2 Dragon Ball Z games. And this is in an era where retro games, I feel like, weren't quite as cool back then, especially on the Machinima community. People were more interested in what's the newest AAA game. And then here I am going back to a Dragon Ball Z game on the PlayStation 2. And I basically did it as a last ditch effort, because I thought, well, I'm making these videos of Minecraft and Fallout and other AAA games that, everybody's really into at the time, and nothing's happening. So I figured what I'm doing is not working. I need to do something different. And I did, and it worked. I ended up getting 3,000 subscribers within the first few hours of that video going live on Machinima, which is not huge now, but back then that was a huge deal. This is going from my channel having 400 subscribers to 3,400 subscribers. And then I started making more videos on Machinima and more videos on my own personal channel of Dragon Ball, and it blew up to the point of 50,000 subscribers, which again, I know is generous to call that a blow up, but back then and in that period of time and how short of a time that took to accumulate, that to me was pretty impressive. Ultimately though, I ended up not making the videos anymore because I got burnt out, and that's a story for another day. Some of you guys are already familiar with that, but I'm not going to bore you with that right now. But I know what you're thinking. StormPow, that was 9 years ago. Now literally everything has been done, and I can't come up with a good idea. And I mean, it is harder. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's definitely harder to come up with a good original idea now than it was back then. So here's a couple of simple things to ask yourself. What are you into, or what are you interested in right now? And you can go as broad about this as you want. I honestly recommend writing this down on a sheet of paper, or on a notepad document on your computer or something like that. Really get this visualized out in front of you. I know that when I was doing this, sometimes it was hard. I wanted to just think about it in my head, but I really implore you to write this down, visualize it, get it in front of you. But what are you interested in right now? What are your interests, and what are some things that you enjoy? And be as broad or as specific as you want to with this. Are you into video games? Are you into art? Are you into anime? Do you like video editing? Is there a specific aspect of one of these that you're really into? And maybe it'll help if you start out broad and then get more narrow. So if you're really mainly just into video games, then what genre of video games, what series in that genre is your favorite, and do you know a whole lot about? And kind of start going more and more in there. So let's say that you just followed those steps right now, and you said that your favorite thing is video games, and then you got a little bit more specific by saying that you really like multiplayer shooters, and then you got a little bit more specific and said that your favorite game right now is Fortnite. And you're probably thinking, well, StormPow, how do I stand out with that? How do I make something that's unique with that? And I mean, definitely it's going to be harder if you're into a franchise that is as oversaturated as Fortnite or, Apex Legends or other really big games. Now, this might be a little bit easier if you happen to be an indie gamer person and you really, enjoy niche games that have a much smaller audience. You're going to be much more likely to stand out right off the bat and be the only person making videos. But if you're doing something a little bit more popular, that doesn't mean that you can't come up with a way to make it your own and to be unique. But you definitely are cranking the difficulty up just a little bit. So you need to find something that nobody else is doing in that, or at least very few people are doing, or at the very least, something that you think you can do better or a little bit differently than somebody else. Take, for example, my channel right now. What I'm doing ultimately is not the most unique thing in the world. Making videos about live streaming and about content creation. There are a large handful of other YouTubers who make videos that are kind of in the same realm, but I wanted to fill in the gaps of some of the creators that I watch, some of the things that I feel like they don't particularly talk about a whole lot, because I feel like there's a lot of people out there saying, hey, if you want to grow your Twitch, make YouTube videos, but then there's not a lot of advice past that. So while on my channel I do talk about growing your Twitch and things like that that are very specific to Twitch, I also want to make content kind of like this where we're talking about how to actually follow through with that and how to grow a YouTube channel and how to start a YouTube channel. And if nothing else, if you literally can't think of anything at all, any other way to make your scene or your community to do that just a little bit, more unique, or to do something that nobody else is doing, then I suggest just going ahead and making videos as is, and make a handful of videos. And I firmly believe that after a handful, 5 to 10, you'll find little certain things that you'll do that will make them stand out to you, whether it be just like a simple way of your editing style or something like that, even just your personality. Ultimately you could make the same type of stuff exactly as another creator, but if your personality is different enough, then there's going to be certain people who watch your videos over theirs, or maybe they watch them together, but they get something different out of both of them. So if nothing else, just start making videos. I mean, don't stress too much about the first few videos, especially if you don't already have a background in video production or anything like that, because you need the experience and the practice on the video editing and the production in general. So I definitely at that point say just go ahead and get out there and start making stuff. But ultimately, whatever you're doing, just make sure to make it your own video. Make sure to put as much of yourself into it as possible, because if you're focusing on just one game, for example, or just one topic of discussion, you're gonna get burnt out on that a lot quicker. So you need to make sure that your audience is engaged in you as a person, at least to a certain degree. So that way, if you do get burnt out on that and you do decide to kind of make some pivots in your content and start working towards other things, or maybe the interests of your community change a little bit, then you've still got them engaged as an audience as a whole, and they're not just engaged in the game that you're playing or the topic that you're discussing. So as a recap, guys, basically what you need to do is find something that you're interested in and find some sort of specific niche or something that you can do to make it your own. And that can be as small or as big as you want. I mean, literally the smallest, minorest difference that you can throw in there to make a certain style of content creation your own is going to make a huge difference, and it's going to give your brand that edge that your community is going to enjoy. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Have you tried any of this? Is it working? Do you have any other topics that you'd like me to discuss in a future video? Let me know, and I'd love to chat with you guys in the comments, or maybe even make a whole new video. But other than that, guys, again, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this video if you are enjoying it, and also be sure to follow my Twitch live stream at twitch.tv/thestormpow. I've also got a great Discord server and other social medias down there in the description below, so be sure to follow with me, and let's see what this crazy ride takes us on. So other than that, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I hope you have a nice day, and goodbye.